Hi lovies, it's your girl Amara here. Welcome back to my channel, Live Love Lloyd. If you are new here, welcome. On this channel you'll get fashion, lifestyle, and everything me. And today's video is going to be a chit chat kind of video, and we're talking about, as you can see from the title of the video, living alone. So let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know, I am officially a newly apartment renter, okay? I have been living on my own for the last month. Yeah, about the last month or so I've been living on my own. And I've had a lot of time to just sit down and journal and think. I knew from since a little girl that I've always wanted to like live on my own and have my own apartment and experience just experience, being a princess in your own, And before I decided to live on my own, I actually went ahead and lived with my ex. And if y'all watched the previous video, well, if y'all didn't watch the previous video, y'all can go ahead and watch that. But I lived with my ex and we just recently broke up, so now I'm living on my own. And living on my own for the first time feels really good. One of the things that I realize is that you aren't codependent on anyone. You're independent. There's no codependency on anyone, and not just in a romantic relationship, but on parents, siblings. You're just all by yourself. And my sister told me before I decided to move with my ex that she felt like I should live on my own because actually she never lived on her own, and that was something that she wanted to experience. And I was like, yeah. But sis was right. She knew what she was talking about. And aside from her being right, deep down inside, I knew that I wanted my own apartment. I knew that I wanted to just, like I said, experience living like a princess and just walking around my home with heels and robes and shit like that, and being a rich auntie and all that good stuff. So, and now that I live on my own, I get this, like, it's so weird because I get like this nostalgic feeling of when I was a little girl and it was just me and my mom, and I kind of felt like, I don't want to say like neglected because my mom took care of me. Like, she's Generation X, so they made sure that we had the basic stuff: a roof over our head, clothes in our bellies, food on the table. Did I say clothes in the belly? They made sure that we had a roof over our head, food on the table, clothes on our back, and that stuff. But they didn't necessarily give the emotional aspect of that. So when it was just my mother and I, like, I would have to find many ways of making myself happy, and I would just be in my room consistently, non-stop creating. And living on my own as an adult, that's the same exact feeling that I have. Like, I'm just non-stop creating, and aside from non-stop creating, I'm non-stop thinking about me, like what makes me happy. And let me calm down because I feel a little emotional, like I'm about to cry. And when I was a little girl, those were the things. Excuse me. I'm not about to cry. I'm not about to cry. And when I was a little girl, like those, like, creating kind of was like my way of escaping my reality. And I was bored, like I was bored. I knew that I was kind of like in a dysfunctional family, and who don't have it, like, dysfunction in their family. But as a child, you think for the most part like everything is perfect. Aside from that, one of the things that also like stands out to me a lot is that there is no one to put any kind of like ideas in your head, because it allows you time to find yourself. It allows you time to X out all those outside noises and all the naysayers and all the social construct that people build around you, the programming, all of that stuff. It's no longer. It's just you. It's you, and it's your subconscious, and while my subconscious voice has always been very subtly loud, I don't know if that's even a thing. Sometimes when you live with people, and if you live with your parents, and you live with siblings, and you live with your boyfriend, and you live with your grandma, and you live with people, it's non-stop. It's non-stop. You don't get a break to just breathe and hear the fucking silence. You don't get a moment to just remember who you are, what you are. And in this stage of my life, that's what I'm doing. I'm remembering who I am. I'm remembering what I am. I'm finding myself, all the things that make me happy, all the things that I used to do as a little girl, like I'm doing now, except for like drawing on the door and acting like a teacher. But shutting off all that outside noise, that's what I'm doing as an adult. And it's a really good feeling, because when I step outside, there's nothing a person can tell me about myself that I don't know. Because why? I spend a lot of time with myself. And you know what's crazy is because obviously you spend the most time with yourself because you're in your body. But so many of us have so many bodies around us that we don't get the time to actually focus on what our inner body is telling us. And you'll be around people who will tell you certain things about yourself, and you'll start feeling bad. You'll start feeling like shit, because it's like, damn, am I really like that? And you don't know, because you don't even really get time to quiet out the noise to understand if you are really like that. I think for young girls and young men, I think it's very important. Like, don't just go from your parents' household to living with a guy or living with a woman. Try to live on your own. If you can afford to live on your own, attempt to do that, because you will see that you don't have the pressures of the world on your shoulders. And living with a partner, no matter how much you guys love one another, you still kind of have the pressures of your partner on your shoulders, because you still kind of gotta, do the whole love language stuff. You gotta do things to make them happy. And sometimes even when you don't want to do anything, sometimes when you just want to just be you and act as though you live alone, you still gotta do those things, right? So if you spend time alone by yourself and get to live on your own first, and get to fully understand who you are, the things that make you happy, the things that move you, you become a better person. Like, you step out into the world confident as fuck. Like, nobody can tell you shit. Like, nobody can tell me shit. I've always been pretty confident. Nobody could tell me anything. But when you live with people, like the personal people, they tend to get to you. And sometimes, like, you're so used to hearing so much stuff from other people, like I said, that you don't know who you are when you step out into the real world. You have to constantly get validation from other people just to understand, like, if you are this way or if you aren't this way or if you aren't that way. I think that it's important to talk about that, because I know that so many young people are in relationships, and some many aren't, but people, mainly the young people who are in relationships, they usually want to just quickly go ahead and live with their partners, and they don't know who they are. So if you don't know who you are individually, standing alone by yourself, how can you possibly live with another person and live comfortably with another person and, have a healthy home? It's almost impossible, to be honest. It's almost impossible. And a lot of people aren't going to really want to talk about it, because a lot of people are like ashamed to talk about what they think are failures. But for me, I don't think anything is a failure in life. Life is a big ball of lessons. Like, everything is a lesson to be learned. If you failed at something, that's a lesson to be learned. And if you think that you failed at it, that's because you didn't learn the lesson. But life is a big bowl of lessons to be learned. So, yeah, a lot of people don't want to express that, it's not really a good idea to live with a person before actually living on your own. And like I said, my sister did tell me that. And I'm happy that my sister expressed that to me. And I'm also happy that I did experience what I experienced with my ex, though, living with him, So now that I did that, I kind of understand why it made sense for my sister to tell me to live on my own. You have to give yourself that time to grow, especially if you're like extremely young. Like I said, I moved out at 28, but if you're like in your early 20s, even in your late teens, because I know some teenagers that like, oh, I'm 19, I'm moving out with my boyfriend. Like, no, stay the fuck home or live on your own. That should be your two options: to stay the fuck home or live on your own. So many people want to leave their relationships, want to leave their partner that they live with, but they can't because they cannot financially afford it. Yeah, you'll realize that a lot of people stay in codependent relationships because they cannot afford it. So for me, I think it's better for you to attempt to live on your own and learn how to survive on your own and learn how to afford taking care of yourself before going ahead and getting into something codependent, and for whatever reason, if you want to get out of it, you're stuck because you don't know how to, you know, survive on your own. You know, I think that's very important, to definitely give yourself the time to live by yourself. It's very much so important. But this wraps up the video, y'all. Comment down below and let me know if the first time you moved out was with a partner or if it was by yourself. And if you did live with your partner, are you still living with your partner? How do you like living with your partner? And if you moved out from your partner, what was the reason? What was your experience and what did you learn from it? Because boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, what I can tell you is that you're finna learn some shit, okay? You are finna learn some shit. But like I said, this wraps up the video, y'all. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. I love y'all, and as always, remember to live, love you. Bye, guys.